Hello everyone, how's it going? So, for this video we're going to go through random numbers. So let me just run this shell here, run module, and you rolled a 2 and a 5 for a total of 7. Okay, well let me just run that module again here. Run module. I rolled a 1 and a 5 for a total of 6. Okay, let's run module again. I rolled a 4 and a 5 for a total of 9. I'm getting 5s a lot from that second dice. One moment, let's just roll it again. I rolled a 4 and a 6 for a total of 10. There we go, thus proving the second number was also randomized. I just got a 1 out of 6 chance 3 times in a row. But there, I didn't get it a 4th time in a row. That's, gambler's fallacy. The luck will never end. But no. So, yeah. So basically, we have 2 different random numbers, and it gave us our total. So, how are we going to do something like that? Okay, well, let's take a look here. So, first thing you're going to want to do, and first off, let's just give us like some sort of greeting here. Let's make this look kind of nice. So, welcome to the dice roll game. The dice roll. Yeah, the dice roll game. We'll just call it dice roll game. And then we'll give them a new line, something like that. Okay, so now, besides the obvious thing of, just welcoming the person who plays the game, we're going to have to now import something, okay? In Python, there are classes. There are different classes of functions that have their own different stuff, and we have to physically import them. They are not there by default. So I'm just going to simply import, I-M-P-O-R-T, random. I am literally importing a class called random. So if there's anything that will have any sort of randomness in any sort of program you make, you're going to import your random. And I'm just going to now make a random dice. So I'm going to, once again, make a variable. I'll name this, I'll just name this dice1. Okay? Dice1 is going to be equal to random. See, we had to import it before we could use it. So import random. And I'm just going to make this a random range. I'll make it a random range. And I'll make it a random range of 6. And you're probably thinking, okay, so there's 6 dice. Dice goes from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Unless, of course, we're playing like Dungeons & Dragons or something where you have a D100, a D20, whatever. We're just going to assume we have normal casino dice. So you're probably looking at this going, hey, this looks perfectly fine. This looks like it'll go from 1 to 6. Let's execute it, see what happens. Welcome to the dice rolling game. Whoops. What did I forget to do? I forgot to print out the dice, didn't I? Print, dice 1. There we go. Execute. We got ourselves a 5. So far it's looking good. Okay, 4. So far we're looking good. Oh, how did we get a 0? How did we get a 0 on a dice that's supposed to go from 1 to 6? Well, here's the thing about numbers, and I'm just going to make a picture here for you guys to be able to see it. So, the computer's memory goes kind of like this. It's represented in between slots and values. So think of it like this. The first thing that you see is slot, so there's slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, so on and so forth. We've got ourselves different slots. But the value, the very first number that a computer recognizes is 0. And then it's slot 2 that has the 1 value. It's slot 3 that has the 2 value. It's slot 4 that has the 3 value, so on and so forth. So, this is actually going from slot 1 to slot 6, which really means I'm going from 0 to 5. So if I want to fix this, I need to simply put a +1. So if I get myself, 1, oh no, I'm not actually getting 1. I'm getting that value plus 1. So I'm moving it over 1. If I get a 3, I'm not actually getting the 2. I'm moving over to the 3. So to fix that logic error, that's what you need to do. And I could do this over and over and over again, and I will never ever get a 0. Whereas before, I would never ever ever get a 6. Oh, I just realized I had these /n/n's there because I put the wrong slashes in. I want that slash. I want that slash. And there we go. 5. I could keep doing this over and over again. I will never get a 0. So that's one way to make a random dice roll. I'm going to do it a different way now. And this time I'm going to put myself random.randInt. So instead of using the range, which is the slots on it, I'm now using physical integers. I'm using physical numbers. And I can just go from 1 to 6. Put in my start point, put in my end point. I will never get a 0 because I never put a 0 in. So here, let me just do this. Print, dice 2. Execute. And now I got a 2 and a 3. I got myself a 4 and a 2. I got myself a 3 and a 2. I got myself a 6 and a 5. Okay, it's giving me different random numbers. So now, let's just make ourselves a total. Make ourselves a total and say total is equal to dice 1 plus dice 2. There we go. So now we'll actually make a print statement that puts this all together. So you rolled a. Of course, I'm going to do string interpolation. I need to separate things with commas. Or if you don't want to have any sort of, well, actually, we'll probably want to use commas here, because if we use the plus icon here, it might think we're trying to do math. So let's just stick with commas. And a, dice 2 for, for a total of, total. There we go. So you rolled a, whatever we got on dice 1, and a, whatever we got for dice 2, for a total of whatever total was, which is total of dice 1 and dice 2 together. So now I'll execute it, and here we go. You rolled a 4 and a 1 for a total of 5. Works just as intended. Let's do it again. Let's make sure it's random. You rolled a 2 and a 2 for a total of 4. Woo! So yeah. Oh, by the way, in case anyone's being a smart aleck, yes, there is no such thing as truly randomness in a computer. If you go back and look at it from a distance, there is eventually, whether it's the milliseconds, the time of day, plus the weather, plus this, whatever, there is actually some super long code that determines the randomness. It's not truly randomized. But as far as we're concerned, it's good enough for us. So yeah, once you have this up and working, submit it through Moodle, and you have a great day. See you next week.